Hey babies, it's your girl Nurse Reese, and you're watching Nurse Reese in the City. All right, so I am back with an update. Not going live. Um, Doing an actual video, which I haven't done in a while. So be able to give you guys some really good content, information, and some resources. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I always say that you guys can reach out to me and ask me questions, and you still can do that. That is fine. But when you're asking me questions, please don't ask me questions that require like long responses. If it's more than yes or no, or more than, something quick, something that doesn't require a lot of thought, then that's fine. But if it's something that should be a consultation, I will encourage you to book a consultation, okay? Because a lot of the questions that you guys ask, I'm not going to say a lot, but a good 75% of them are already in the videos. So I'm not going to keep repeating myself when there's free content out here for you to review and receive the information that you're asking for. Like I said, if it's a quick yes or no, that's fine. But if you want something, more in depth, then I'm going to encourage you to book a consultation because I will not be answering those questions. Okay. To it. So the last time that I did a live, I had finished the Psych and P program, and I hadn't taken the boards yet. Well, the boards, yeah, board certified board exam with the ANCC. So I hadn't taken that yet, and I told you that I was studying and stuff like that, and I didn't reveal the resources that I used to prepare for the board certification, right? So without further ado, let's get a drum roll. I passed the board. And it was, how was the board exam? Well, let's talk about it. Right? So I took the boards at home. It was remote. Well, I took it remotely. And there are pros and cons to taking it remotely. So let's talk about the pros. The pros are you take it at home. So you don't have to go far. It's a familiar setting. You're using hopefully familiar equipment. Those are the pros, I would say. There's a lot of cons too. The cons are you're taking it home. It's a familiar setting. And maybe some people need a different setting to get their mind focused and things like that. So when you take it at a remote location, there shouldn't be anyone around. There shouldn't be like anyone that can communicate with you, that can be in view. You don't want, like, if you have children, you don't want your children around coming in asking questions. Oh, Mom, can I have this? Or you don't want any of that because it's really not allowed. Another con is that you're only allowed 2 pieces of tissue. So in the actual exam, they give you like a dry erase board, and you can jot down, I guess, last minute stuff, whatever, last minute details or things that are in your brain. You can do like a dump sheet. That's what they call it, a dump sheet, right? But you can't really do that in that way when you take it remotely. There is like a notepad that you can use. So I guess if you want to type stuff into the notepad, you can do that. They give you like, I think it's 15-minute review. It might be a 15 or 30-minute review where you go through how to use the system, where everything is at. They give you like a little mock of answering questions just so you know how to do that. And the notepad is available at that time. I didn't use a notepad because I just didn't. Yeah. Other than that, what are some other cons? You get a 10-minute break, which is not a con, but you are allowed a 10-minute break. But when you come back from that 10-minute break, they have to do your, I guess, search again, where they search your workspace. They do everything. And when they do a lot. Like when they did mine, when they searched me and everything, they searched the workplace. There's like a TV above the desk that I had to unplug the TV. They wanted me to unplug like I have speakers. I didn't do that. I just turned it off. I had a remote and I turned it off, and like the remote was out of the view. But then they had me like all underneath the desk. It was crazy. They had like underneath my chair, like literally turning the chair over. It was a lot. Like I'm like, this is more than a 360. It was a little over the top. I literally had to tell the guy like, listen, I'm not gonna be underneath the chair. Like this is too much. Then he's like, oh, you're good, you're good. I'm like at one point he was doing a bit much. So I didn't like that. But other than that, I don't think there's too many other cons. And like when you think about it, I did not take a 10-minute break for the sole purpose of I did not want to have to go through that whole check again. It felt like a violation, but yeah. So I just sat through it and did it. Resources. What resources did I use? Okay, all right. So the name of the review is Georgette's PMHNP certification. Did I just say certification? Certification review courses. So again, it's Georgette's PMHNP certification review courses. So you can Google that. So I did both the modules 1 through 5, and I did the LMR, which stands for Last Minute Review. Highly recommend. Highly, highly, highly recommend. The modules alone. So I think it's 4 days. Modules 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think modules 1 and 2 are 1 day. And then 3, 4, and 5 are different days. So it's 4 days of review. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's accurate. And then the LMR is usually on a Sundays. It's like 6 hours or so. So they're lengthy, like the reviews are like the LMR and the modules are pretty lengthy. You can do just the LMR and be successful, but I wanted to make sure that I was successful. So I did the LMR and the modules. And the thing about the modules is that she provides a lot of questions. Like she presents questions and the group answers them, and she gives a rationale. When I did the math, there were about 112, 113 questions collectively from modules 1 through 5. For the exam, you need 105 questions to pass correct. The exam is like 175 questions. And I will say that the questions in modules 1 through 5 were very similar to the exam. I mean, some of them were even the same. Maybe just a little bit different, but the content of it was pretty much the same. So I would highly recommend that. The other thing that I did was called CHE, and I believe it stands for Continuing Health Education. So there's content in there as well, but I didn't do that content because I didn't want to confuse myself. And from a lot of the reviews in the group for Georgette's review course, basically said like LMR is all you need. So I didn't want to confuse myself. But I didn't do the ANCC practice questions because I heard they were more difficult and some people didn't really find it beneficial. So I decided to do the CHE because they're timed and they're cheap. They're like $34 per test. There's only 2 tests. It's an A and B. And you can take them like 55 times each. And who's taking them 55 times? Nobody. I think I took them both twice. If that. I think I took them both twice. I know for sure I took A twice. B, I might have only taken it once and just reviewed the correct answers. And you can see what answers you got wrong and which answers were right too. So that was helpful. Let me just find the website so I can give that to y'all. So the website is Continuing Health Education, just the way it sounds. ContinuingHealthEducation.com. Okay, so check that out. And when you sign up for that, you're going to have to like message this woman and she's going to have to like approve you and all this other stuff. It is a bit much, but it's worth it. So, all right, let's see. Other than that, that's really it. That's really all I did. And it was I felt very prepared and confident when I sat for the exam. Like I knew the answers were right, the choices that I was picking. And you know the good thing about CHE is like you can find out like your weaknesses, and so I would definitely take the CHE before you start studying. Like if you're already studying, fine. But if you're not, do the CHE and then go back in and study those areas that are your weak points. But really, that's all you need. Georgette and the CHE. Just make sure you know that information. As long as you know the information, you'll be fine. And that's it. That's the update for that. Sorry my energy is low. It's been a lot going on. A lot of stuff. But yeah. So now the next steps are just getting licensing stuff. And I got a lot of stuff going on. I'll let you guys know as it happens, not before. I'll keep you guys in the loop and be a resource as long as I can, if I can. So let's talk about getting licensed in New York. Getting licensed in New York, what do you need? Basically, you have to send your transcripts. And then when you pass you can apply like whenever. But New York only gives you 30 days to complete your application, like to pay for it. So you want to make sure that it's with either you're testing and you're confident you've studied, because you don't want to waste your money. But once you paid, then you're good. Then once you pass your certification, the ANCC, you can just send that over. Or actually, what you can do too, what you should do is call the ANCC. Don't email them or whatever. Just call them. They answer the phone. Some people say they don't answer the phone, but they do. They answer every time I call. So call them and ask them to send over your verification letter, and they'll do that. And then after that, really, you just have to wait for them to get to it. That's for New York and and you have to, if you didn't go to school in New York, then you have to complete a New York, what is it, prescriptor, it's like prescription and record keeping course. It's easy, but you have to pay for it. You have to pay for everything. And then in Jersey, well, depending on, I don't know if it depends on your school and how many credits you receive for your pharmacology classes. But in my school, they only gave us 2 credits for psychopharm. And I think regular advanced pharm was 3, so it's 5. So I know they asked for 6 hours of 6 contact hours. I guess it's 6 pharmacology contact hours. So I had to pay for a course and do that as well. Yeah, but everything else they got. So once they receive that, then everything should be good. So that is something extra that you will have to do for New Jersey. I don't know anything about the other states yet. Other than that, what else is there? I mean, really, that's it for now, right? That's it. It's just a lot of legwork. A lot of legwork. You have to, if you don't have an NPI, you need to get an NPI. If you have an NPI, you have to update your NPI. Um, there's so much stuff to do. So much stuff. But I'll get into those things one by one with you all. But yeah, I just wanted to update you guys really quickly, let you know the good news, and provide you with some resources. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.